Would you invest in State College, PA right now? Let's find out if the numbers make sense. Welcome back to the Real Estate Hackers. I'm your host, Dave Hathaway, and today we are running the real numbers on a currently listed property in State College, PA to see if it cash flows. By the end of the video, you'll know if State College is worth your investment dollars, how much cash flow you can expect in a real deal, and whether I'd invest there or if I'm walking away. So the address we'll look at is right here. It's 1832 Wattle Road, State College, PA 16803, and this property is currently listed for sale right now. I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys would give us a like and subscribe so we can keep the free content coming. So let's look at State College market fundamentals first and foremost before we break down the property cash flow. State College, PA has a population of 40,871 people. It's increased by 1.14% over the last year. So an increasing population is great. It has an unemployment rate of 3.6%. That's about the national average. Awesome there. Average salaries in State College, PA, according to ZipRecruiter, are $47,567 per year. So that's a bit low. Average home value, according to Zillow, is $411,000. It's up 2.7% year over year, and is an average of 8 days on market. So this is a hot market that the property values are relatively expensive. Median rent in State College, PA is $1,792 per month, and the price to rent ratio is 19.11. Price to rent ratio, if it's over 15. If it's under 15, you usually can find pretty good cash flow. If it's over 15, it's usually hard to find cash flowing properties. Fortune 1000 companies headquartered in State College, PA. There's none, but it is home to the only Penn State University, the Nittany Lions. So shout out to anybody that's a fan of Penn State. It doesn't have any major league sports teams, but we like to see sports teams. And like I just mentioned, Penn State football is it's a major draw. People go, the games are awesome. And so they got that as far as entertainment and sporting events. Doesn't have an international airport. However, Harrisburg International Airport is the closest international airport to State College, PA, and it's about an hour drive. It's not the worst thing in the world. So overall, I give this market a 1 thumbs up just because of the low average salaries. If it had a bit higher average salaries, I think I give it 2 thumbs up, but I think that will overall hold the property appreciation to a lower level, to a steady Eddie level, which is usually what you expect in central PA anyways. Moving on to the Google Street Test. This is a single family home. If you look at the properties surrounding them, there's nothing that stands out to me. There's no trash. So I'm going to give this property a pass for the Google Street Test. And let's move on now to the property breakdown. This one's listed for $309,000. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, single-family home. It's 1,517 square feet. It was built in 1950. And what I love and why I picked this listing in particular is it is walking distance to Wegmans, which is an amazing grocery store, and it's also walking distance to Walmart. So you got pretty much everything you need as a tenant, and that's what I look to a lot is like, is it convenient for the tenant to do things, to have things if they need to go shopping, they need to get something? How convenient is the property to local stores? And this one's super convenient. My rehab suggestions for this property, if you look at these photos here, the property is in good shape. The first thing that sticks out on the first picture though is that green awning. It looks horrible. And if you wanted to spend a little bit more money, I'd probably replace it, and I'd probably go with a nice asphalt shingle front porch. If you wanted to go a little bit more budget friendly and you didn't really have the cash flow, you didn't have the money to spend, then I'd say just paint that thing black. Don't paint it green so it sticks out a ton. Paint it semi-gloss black. Give it a really good coat. and it will look much better than what it currently does at that green color. But if you look through the rest of the house, the bathrooms look pretty good. The kitchen looks great. The kitchen has stainless steel appliances. It's got your over-the-range microwave. It's got everything that a tenant would want in a property. And so I don't want to say do a zero rehab budget because I don't like doing a zero rehab budget. But I would say you don't need a huge rehab budget for this property. Maybe I put $3,000, maybe I put $5,000, but you can kind of get away with bare bones here as this property is in good shape. Now, if you're worried about renovations, I know a lot of investors are. If you have gone over budget on renovations, if you have gone way over timeline on renovations, or you're struggling to find good contractors aren't calling you back, they're ghosting you, they're just not moving your project forward. I created a course. It's called Master the Rehab 101. You can find it with a link in the description, but just mastertherehab.com. And it is all of the systems that I built around renovating, how I renovate, how I find the best contractors, and how I scaled my 52-unit rental portfolio. I would love for you to check it out. Check out with the link in the description. So let's run the numbers through our analyzer. And if you don't have an analyzer, there's another link in the description. It's free. You can download it, and you should have an analyzer. It makes things much quicker and easier to analyze properties fast. But if you look at the numbers in here, this property, Zillow states, rents out for about $2,321. Looking around at comparable properties, I'd say that's accurate. Property taxes for this property are great. They're $2,366, not bad. So if you look at the cash flow section down there, this property would cash flow, if you purchase it in all cash, $1,595.55, or 5.84% cash on cash return. So definitely not amazing. Not the worst thing in the world, but not amazing. If you then you refinanced the property and got a DSCR loan at 6.75%, a 30-year fixed. If you don't know what DSCR loans are, we have a great video on it that a lender explains it in detail. You'd make about $35.36 or 0.52% return on investment. So that is super low. It's not negative, but it's real close to zero. And that means some months you're going to be doing big repairs on the property and basically killing all your cash flow for the entire year if you did that. So one way you could bump that cash flow up a bit is by just putting a bigger down payment. So there's ways to kind of make that cash flow a bit more. But my final verdict on this property, and you guys know if you've watched a bunch of our videos, if you watch these deal analyzing videos, that I don't like properties that are really close to zero cash flow or negative cash flow. I really like State College, PA. I give it a 1 thumbs up. It's a good market overall. It's just going to be a steady eddy up to the right over time. So it's a good place to be a store of value for rental properties. However, I don't think it's going to spike all crazy overnight. And I don't think in a recession it's going to go down. I think it's just going to be your steady eddy holding a nice store of value. But for this property in specific, I think it needs a bit more cash flow for my likings. If maybe you could get it for a cheaper price to get it to cash flow $150 a month, I'd say, hey, I'm all in. Or if you adjusted your down payment so it gets $150 or more a month, I could get on board with that and say that's an okay investment. But currently with that $35, I would pass. I'd walk away from it if I couldn't get the seller to come down in price. Now, with that being said, for the State College, PA market, we saw the price earnings ratio is high. It's 19, or sorry, price to rent ratio is high. It's around 19. And so I think you're going to have to look for off-market properties or properties that are super value add in this market. So I'd definitely contact wholesalers. I'd get involved in local masterminds to try to get off-market properties, or I'd just do some sort of direct to seller or direct to owner campaign where I send out some sort of mailers to them to see if I can purchase it directly to get a better purchase so I could get some cash flow. If you like cash flow, you should, and you like Central PA, you should check out our other market deep dives like Harrisburg, like Pittsburgh, like Philadelphia. I'll put a link to all those markets in this video as they cash flow very well. If this video has helped you get closer to purchasing your first cash flow rental property, definitely hit the like, subscribe button, and drop a comment if you would invest in State College PA. Why or why not? I'll see you on another video.